This is more than a thought. It's a sacred reckoning. Life has done its best to convince you otherwise. It's tried to bury your power beneath layers of fear, hardship, and the opinions of people who never knew how much fire you were hiding inside. You've walked through valleys no one else could see, smiled when you were crumbling, gave when you had nothing left. You've been the anchor in storms that were never yours to carry. And still, through all of it, there's a question whispering inside you. What if I am stronger than everything that tried to break me? And here's the truth. You are. You've always been. But when the noise of the world gets loud, it's easy to forget the roar inside you. This chapter you're walking through, it's not the proof of your weakness, it's the reveal of your strength. Don't be fooled by the mess, the chaos, or the delay. Chosen one, this is the part of your story where your strength starts to speak louder than your suffering. This is where your inner power, hidden in the cracks of your pain, begins to shine. Yes, your wishes are important, and yes, the universe is responding to the frequencies you're sending out. So, as you watch this video, write your warmest wishes in the comments and include 77 to seal your intentions with the power of unity and divine flow. But understand, what's arriving is not just a dream fulfilled. It's the result of the strength you've cultivated in the dark. Now, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive deeper. Your circumstances are not your ceiling. They are your stage. You were never meant to simply exist inside the limits around you. You were meant to expand beyond them. What's pressing against you now is not a sign to stop. It's the universe testing if you truly remember who you are. You are the one who walks through fire and does not burn. You are the one who falls 7 times and rises 8. You are the one who holds hope like a sword in a world that constantly tries to dull your edges. That's not weakness, that's divine resilience. That's eternal strength. Look around. Everything may seem uncertain. Your path may look foggy. But chosen one, uncertainty doesn't weaken you. It awakens you. When everything else feels unsure, your soul becomes sure. That's when your real voice rises. That's when your choices become clearer. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. The storm is not in control of your story. You are. And the more you realize this, the more powerless your problems become. They shrink in the presence of your remembering. They tremble when you choose to stand anyway. You've mistaken endurance for luck. But luck didn't get you here. Grit did. Spirit did. Divine favor cloaked in persistence did. Your strength isn't a fluke. It's the root of who you are. Life tried to dim it, but you kept glowing. It tried to close your mouth, but you kept speaking. It tried to chain your feet, but you kept walking. That doesn't happen by accident. That's chosen strength. There's a version of you that exists beyond every breakdown. A version that doesn't beg for peace, but creates it. A version that isn't waiting for perfect timing, but understands that every delay is divine choreography. That version, it's already within you. It's already rising. The more pressure you face, the more powerful it becomes. Like diamonds, your brilliance is born under pressure. Like stars, your light shines brightest in the dark. Do not mistake your current pain for the end of your power. It's just the beginning. Remember the times you thought it was over, and yet you found one more breath, one more step, one more moment of grace. That was your strength. Not outside you, but from within. That's the part of you that fear can't reach. That's the part of you that pain can't erase. That's the truth of who you are. And no matter how loud your circumstances get, they cannot drown that out. Not if you don't let them. Sometimes the strength doesn't look like shouting from mountaintops. Sometimes it looks like whispering hope to yourself in silence. Sometimes it looks like waking up, getting dressed, and facing the world, even with a cracked heart. That is strength. That is divine courage. And that is you, chosen one. What if this moment, the one you're in right now, is the one that shifts everything? Not because your circumstances changed, but because you did. Because you finally believed what has always been true, that you're stronger than what hurt you, stronger than what delayed you, stronger than what left you, stronger than what confused you, stronger than what scared you, stronger than every reason you thought you couldn't move forward. This world needs your strength, but more importantly, you need to remember it. You need to feel it rise again. You need to breathe like someone who knows the mountain wasn't placed in front of you to stop you. It was placed there to remind you that you were made to climb. You don't need every answer. You just need to move. Trust yourself enough to take one more step, and then another, until suddenly you realize you were never stuck. You were gathering strength. And now, that strength is ready to lead. You don't need perfect conditions to activate your power. You just need permission from yourself. Give yourself that today. Give yourself the grace to rise, even if you're still healing. Give yourself the courage to try, even if you're still scared. Your circumstances don't get the final word. You do. And when you speak from your strength, the entire universe responds. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. You are not weak. You are being refined. You are not lost. You are being led. And you are not alone. All of heaven backs the strength you're just beginning to remember. Chosen one, if only you could see yourself through divine eyes, you'd weep at the beauty of your own strength. You've been walking around like a prisoner of your past, when in truth, you've been carrying the key in your spirit all along. The cage was never locked. It just looked familiar. That's how circumstances trick you. They wrap themselves in repetition and routine until you believe this is all there is. But you were never born to repeat. You were born to rise. Your strength isn't just something you call upon when you're desperate. It's your birthright. It's coded into your very being. It shows up in the way you continue despite exhaustion, in the way you believe even when the evidence tells you not to. You are stronger than confusion, stronger than delay, stronger than any version of life that tells you this is all you get. You are not here to submit to your circumstances. You're here to transform them from the inside out. Look at your life, chosen one. Really look. Not through the lens of shame or regret, but through the eyes of remembrance. Every moment that tried to bury you only pushed you closer to the truth. You can't be destroyed, because you're not made of what the world thinks. You're made of something higher, something older than pain and greater than fear. And if you're still here, it's because your story isn't finished. There is more for you. Not someday, now. Do you know what real strength is? It's holding faith in one hand and fear in the other, and choosing to move forward anyway. It's waking up every day in a world that wants you to forget your power, and choosing to remember anyway. Strength is not about being untouched by life. It's about being shaped by it without being defined by it. You've been through so much, not to weaken you, but to reveal what's unshakable inside you. You have survived circumstances others wouldn't understand, and that makes you a walking miracle. But more than that, it makes you qualified to break cycles, qualified to rewrite stories, qualified to carry light into places that once drowned you in darkness. This is why the pressure was so great. This is why the weight was so heavy. It wasn't because you were weak. It was because you were born for more. Your destiny required more strength, so life demanded more resistance. You see, life has a way of molding the strongest souls through the sharpest trials. And chosen one, your trials weren't random. They were refining you, forging you, turning you into someone who could not only survive, but lead. That's right. You weren't just called to make it out. You were chosen to lead others through. But before you lead them, you must first believe in your own ability to break through. Let go of the lie that says you must wait until everything is perfect. Let go of the belief that says your past disqualifies your future. Those are lies built on fear, and you were not built to fear. You were built to remember, to awaken, to carry a strength that doesn't crumble when the world does. You don't have to prove your strength to anyone. It's not in what you say. It's in what you've survived, in what you've rebuilt, in what you've forgiven, in what you've dared to dream again, even when the world gave you every reason not to. That's what makes you strong. That's what makes you chosen. Let this truth echo deep within. Circumstances change, storms come and go, but the power within you, that's eternal. That's your compass. That's your foundation. And as long as you remember that, there is no situation, no heartbreak, no rejection, no delay that can take you out. You are still standing because you're still called, still chosen, still rising. So don't wait for the clouds to clear. Start moving anyway. Don't wait for everything to make sense. Trust that your steps are sacred, because they are. You are walking in strength, even when you feel shaky. You are walking in power, even when the path isn't clear. And the more you trust that power, the louder it grows. You don't need anyone's permission to be powerful. You already are. But you do need your own permission to act on that power, to believe that your strength is real, that your path is unfolding even now under your feet. Chosen one, walk boldly, speak clearly, love deeply. You've survived too much to live in silence. You've been given too much grace to live in fear. The next chapter is not waiting on your circumstances to change. It's waiting on you to see them differently. Because once you realize they were never bigger than you, everything begins to shift. The mountain moves, the door opens, the heart heals. Because the moment you stand in your truth, the whole universe leans in to support you. And here you are, on the edge of that moment. The moment where everything that tried to bury you becomes the ground you rise from. This is your strength. This is your season. And this is just the beginning. There comes a point in your journey, chosen one, when you realize the war you're fighting is no longer outside of you. It's within. It's not the circumstances that have the power to defeat you, but the beliefs you hold about yourself. And when those beliefs start to shift, when you begin to see yourself not as a victim of life, but as a force within it, everything begins to change. You stop waiting for rescue and become your own revival. You stop begging life to get easier and become the one who grows stronger. This is not just empowerment, it is remembrance. You are not here by chance. You are not enduring just to survive. Every closed door, every silent night, every painful turn was not the universe forgetting you, but refining you. The challenges weren't meant to shame you. They were sacred fires, forging something rare, something eternal, something unbreakable. That something is you. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are not less powerful for having moments of doubt. Even the strongest souls cry in silence. Even the bravest warriors kneel before they rise. But do not confuse your stillness for surrender. Even in your pause, You are gathering power. Even in your waiting, the universe is rearranging itself in your favor. The battle you are in is revealing you to yourself. Look at the patterns. Every time you thought it was the end, you became something greater. Every time something was taken from you, you found more within yourself. You did not break. You expanded. You did not fall apart. You reassembled into someone even more aligned with your calling. That is not coincidence. That is strength. And no circumstance, no matter how heavy, can erase that. You have been walking through storms with fire in your eyes, carrying dreams in your heart like secret maps. And though it felt like the world was closing in, what was really happening was a divine push, not to harm you, but to stretch you, to grow you into the next version of yourself. You are becoming something greater, not because your life got easier, but because your soul got louder. This part of your journey isn't about escaping your circumstances. It's about rising in the middle of them. It's about becoming the version of you who doesn't wait for permission to live fully, the one who doesn't postpone joy, the one who knows that even in the middle of hardship, you are allowed to hope, to laugh, to create, to believe. You are allowed to carry light even when surrounded by shadows. You've been looking at your circumstances as if they're immovable objects, but they're not. They're temporary landscapes, and your soul was not born to fit into landscapes. It was born to reshape them, to leave fingerprints on them. You were born to walk through the fire and not come out as ash, but as gold. You were born to see walls and declare them as doors. And the moment you start believing this, not just in your mind, but deep in your bones, you will become unstoppable. Strength does not come from pretending everything is okay. It comes from choosing to rise, even when nothing is. It comes from speaking hope over your own life, from telling yourself, I may not be where I want to be, but I am not where I used to be, and I am not done yet. Your power is not in your perfection. It's in your persistence. And every time you decide to keep going, even when you don't feel like it, you reclaim a piece of your soul. So let today be the day you stop arguing for your limitations. Let today be the day you stop saying, this is just the way it is, and start asking, what if I'm more powerful than this? Because you are. You are more powerful than the fear, more powerful than the loss, more powerful than the silence. You are the answer to the question you've been asking, the light you've been searching for. You've been waiting for something to shift. This is it. The shift is you. No, your circumstances may not change overnight, but your mindset can. And that alone has the power to realign your entire existence. When you decide that you are not at the mercy of your environment, but that your energy reshapes everything you enter, you step into true freedom. That's when the miracles begin to gather. That's when the path starts clearing. Not because it got easier, but because you got aligned. Chosen one, don't underestimate the ripple your strength creates. Others are watching. Others are learning how to fight because of how you keep showing up. And maybe they'll never say it, but your resilience is giving them permission to believe again. So don't shrink. Don't hide. Don't convince yourself that surviving is all you were meant for. You were meant to thrive, to illuminate, to lift. You're not here to repeat generational cycles of limitation. You're here to break them. You're not here to settle for average. You're here to call down heaven into your life. You're not here to be forgotten. You're here to leave a legacy of strength, of courage, of light. And you don't have to wait for the stars to align. You are the alignment. You are the sign. You are the signal that it's time to rise. So rise. with trembling hands if you must, with weary steps if needed. Just don't stop, because with every breath, you're proving that your power is greater than your pain. With every step forward, you're declaring that your destiny is louder than your doubt. And with every moment you continue, chosen one, you are walking yourself home to the strongest version of who you were always meant to be. It has pointed at your failures, your detours, your delays, and said, "See, you're not strong." But chosen one, strength is not the absence of setbacks. It's your response to them. Strength isn't found in never falling. It's found in the courage to get up, again and again, even when your knees shake and your heart questions everything. And you've done that, over and over. Maybe quietly, maybe without applause, but you've done it. That is strength. That is sacred. You've been walking through life, carrying silent burdens. People see your smile, but don't see the weight you carry behind it. They hear your laughter, but don't notice how you've taught yourself to rebuild every time something collapsed. You've been your own shelter, your own light, your own guide through darkness. And that kind of strength, it's not just rare, it's divine. That kind of strength can't be faked. It's born only in the fire. Circumstances are loud. They demand your attention. They tell you how stuck you are, how limited your resources are, how impossible your vision is. But they don't know you. They don't know how many nights you've cried and still rose with purpose. They don't know the moments you almost gave up, but didn't. They don't know the fire in your soul that refuses to be extinguished. They don't know that you've decided, somewhere deep inside, that this life doesn't end in defeat. And maybe you haven't voiced that out loud. Maybe you've never screamed your strength into the skies. But it's there. It's the reason you haven't quit. It's the reason you still dream. Even with tears in your eyes, even when the path disappears, you still want more. Not out of greed, but because your soul knows you were made for more. Because your spirit recognizes that the limits placed around you are not your truth. They are only tests, and you are passing them, chosen one. The truth is, your circumstances are a mirror. They reflect not just the world around you, but the beliefs you carry within. So when you shift those beliefs, when you begin to speak power over yourself, when you start to see your worth not as something to earn, but something to reclaim, everything outside of you starts to respond differently. That is the secret the world won't tell you. The outer world obeys the inner one. So many people wait for their circumstances to change before they give themselves permission to change. But not you. You are awakening to something greater. You are choosing to believe in your strength before the evidence shows up. And that is the rarest kind of courage, to see what's not visible, to feel what's not yet tangible, and to walk as if it's already true. Because that's how chosen ones move. Not by sight, but by inner knowing. There is power in you that hasn't even been fully activated yet. And that's not a failure. It's a promise. It means there's still more to discover, more to reveal, more strength waiting to meet you. The pressure you feel now is not a punishment. It's an invitation to rise, to remember, to tap into the well of spiritual power inside you that was never meant to be dormant. This isn't just about healing your past. It's about rewriting your future. Because the future isn't waiting on luck. It's waiting on alignment. The future you desire, the version of you that's bold, free, powerful, it already exists. It's already pulsing beneath the surface. All you have to do is keep showing up. Keep choosing faith over fear. Keep deciding, again and again, that your circumstances will not define your destiny. You've come too far to stop now. You've seen too much to pretend your strength isn't real. You've survived what should have broken you. And somehow, you're still here, more aware, more awake, more dangerous to everything that ever tried to hold you down. Don't apologize for how much you've grown. Don't shrink to make others comfortable with your light. You weren't chosen to blend in. You were chosen to break patterns, to set new standards, to carry energy that shifts atmospheres. The circumstances you're facing right now are not blockades. They're blueprints. They're mapping out the places in your life where power is being reborn. And when the voice of fear whispers, "What if you fail again?" you get to answer, "What if I rise higher than I've ever imagined?" Because you will. Because that's who you are. Not just a survivor, not just a dreamer, but a force. A living answer to prayers not yet spoken. A disruption to cycles that have existed for generations. You are the evidence that strength walks in human form. And it's not because everything is perfect. It's because you've chosen to walk in truth even when everything around you lies. You've chosen to move in love even when surrounded by pain. You've chosen to believe in beauty even when all you've seen is ashes. That's not naivety. That's sacred strength. So don't stop. Don't fold. Don't lose yourself in the noise. Stay close to your center. Stay connected to the fire inside you. Because no matter what is happening around you, you are still rising, still learning, still unfolding into someone who is unshakable. And the more you remember that, the less control your circumstances will have over you. This is the becoming, and it's happening now. What you are facing now is not merely a sequence of difficult life events. It is a spiritual proving ground, a calibration of consciousness, a place where the tension between who you've been and who you're becoming tightens to the point of discomfort. But herein lies the sacred paradox. Discomfort is the incubator of transformation. Not because it is pleasant, but because it forces you to locate strength within you that has remained dormant until now. Your current circumstances are not a mistake. They are a diagnostic of your destiny. Every restriction, every closed door, every unanswered question is a reflection of the magnitude of the purpose you carry. Systems don't resist what isn't a threat. Energy doesn't push against what has no potential. And you, chosen one, are awakening into a realm of inner power that requires resistance to refine it. Understand this. The adversity you're experiencing is proportionate to the level of breakthrough encoded in your life path. That's why it feels intense. You're not being punished, you are being prepared. The pressure is revealing parts of your identity that can no longer stay small. And in this process, your spirit is being stripped of illusions. Illusions about what limits you, what defines you, and what you are truly capable of. Let's be precise. Circumstances are constructs. They are external configurations shaped by previous cycles of thought, emotion, and action. But your soul exists beyond the linear confines of circumstance. The essence of who you are, your divine architecture, is not bound by what surrounds you. When you begin to perceive yourself as the origin point of transformation, rather than a passive participant, the entire structure of your reality begins to reconfigure. You are not waiting on circumstances to shift. Circumstances are waiting on you to activate. This activation begins in your perception. Perception is the filter through which possibility is either expanded or denied. When you perceive yourself as stronger than what opposes you, you initiate a shift in energetic authority. You reclaim dominion over your space, your decisions, and your narrative. And this isn't some abstract spiritual concept. It is a practical, psychological truth. Your thoughts influence your neurochemistry. Your beliefs inform your behavior. Your inner world dictates your outer experience. Now is the moment to apply this knowing with clarity and confidence. When the outer world grows loud with limitation, turn inward and amplify the frequency of truth. You are not your bank account. You are not your environment. You are not your relationship status. You are not the time it's taking. You are an eternal force encoded with wisdom and fire, and no temporary situation can diminish that unless you agree to forget it. But you won't forget. You are remembering now. This remembering is painful at times because it requires shedding the parts of you that became addicted to struggle. It demands that you release the versions of yourself who only knew how to survive. But you are not here to live a life built around survival. You are here to model spiritual authority in motion. That means breaking out of emotional contracts with fear, shame, and unworthiness. It means speaking life over your future while standing in the ashes of what didn't work. It means rising before the world claps, because your soul has already decided it's time. You don't owe explanations for this shift. Not everyone will understand it. Some will resist it. Some will question you. Let them. You are not being arrogant. You are being activated. You are not walking away from humility. You are walking into sovereignty. This shift from circumstantial thinking to divine identity is not comfortable, but it is essential. What you are learning now is not how to get through life. It's how to command it, not through control, but through coherence. When your beliefs, thoughts, energy, and actions align with your highest truth, your circumstances begin to bend. That's the law of inner dominance. It's not wishful thinking, it's spiritual physics. Even in science, we know that observation collapses the wave function into a particle. What you focus on becomes form. You are not just reacting to life. You are constantly creating it. And the longer you remain in the energy of "I am stronger than this," the more life has no choice but to reflect that strength back to you. Chosen one, there's a frequency you're meant to walk in. It's called certainty. Not the brittle certainty that's rooted in ego, but the deep, unshakable knowing that comes from alignment. When you carry certainty, circumstances become malleable. When you carry certainty, the future becomes a mirror of your current vibration. Do not be surprised if old patterns try to re-emerge right now. This is a form of energetic testing. You are proving not to the world, but to yourself, that your new foundation is real, that your strength is not situational, but constitutional, that your joy, your power, your clarity are not responses to outcomes. They are decisions made in advance. You are stepping into a level of mastery that few dare to claim, not because it's unavailable, but because it requires complete accountability. But you are ready. The universe would not be placing this level of revelation in your hands unless it knew you were equipped to handle it. So here is what I need you to know. Your circumstances are not your measure. Your external outcomes are not your verdict. You are in the process of quantum expansion, and that requires faith that stretches beyond what you see. Hold that faith like a sword. Speak from that place. Move from that place. Decide again and again that you are not waiting for things to change. You are the change. This is not motivational talk. This is reality. This is alignment. This is strength, rooted in truth, not performance. And this is where you begin to live from the inside out. This is the place where the old self fades, not through force, but through the quiet realization that it was never truly you. The weight you've carried, the doubts you've nursed, the ceilings you've accepted, they were never your truth. They were the echoes of survival. Echoes of a time when you didn't yet know your strength. But now you know. And once you know, you can't unknow. Once you've seen yourself beyond the mask of your circumstances, you are no longer bound by them. You are becoming sovereign over your life in a way that transcends anything circumstantial. This is more than emotional resilience. It is spiritual reclamation. You are not just rising from what happened. You are rising into who you were always meant to be. Not the version of you molded by fear. Not the version shaped by other people's expectations, but the authentic self, forged in truth and lit by vision. And now you must walk differently, think differently, speak differently. Not because you're pretending to be someone greater, but because you are remembering someone deeper. You are not faking confidence. You are reclaiming it. You are not forcing healing. You are allowing it. Your power doesn't come from effort. It comes from embodiment. This is the embodiment of strength. To move through the world with a calm fire in your chest. To look at circumstances that once paralyzed you and feel nothing but clarity. To know that no matter what life throws at you, you have authority over your response, your energy, and your alignment. That is true power. And that power is now waking up inside you fully. Let the old narratives fall away. The ones that told you that you had to earn your worth, that you had to wait to be chosen, that you had to be perfect to be powerful. All lies. You were chosen the moment you were born. Your breath is proof of your assignment. Your presence is a sign of divine strategy. You were not sent here to play small. You were not built to fold. You were constructed for elevation. And don't confuse your humility for weakness. True humility is not shrinking. It's knowing the source of your strength and walking in it with quiet confidence. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes the strongest person in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove anything. That's the kind of strength that builds legacies. That's the kind of strength that shifts generations. So now you must decide, not once, but daily. You must decide to remember who you are. You must choose to treat every moment as sacred, every thought as creative, every step as prophetic. You must walk as someone who knows that the ground shifts beneath your feet. Not because you are lucky, but because you are aligned. Circumstances will still try to whisper fear. They'll still attempt to convince you that you are powerless. But that's just habit. That's just old energy trying to maintain its grip. It cannot win unless you allow it. But you won't. Because now you see the pattern. You see the lie. And you choose truth instead. You choose to move as if the outcome is already secure. You choose to believe that your vision wasn't placed in your heart to torment you, but to guide you. You choose to look at the things that used to scare you and smile, not because they no longer exist, but because you no longer serve them. You've stepped out of the timeline of fear and into the timeline of truth. And in this timeline, you don't just survive, you command. This is how chosen ones move, with grace, with intention, with certainty born from communion with the divine. Not because life is easier for them, but because they've learned that their source is internal, and that internal strength cannot be taken. It only grows. So, let the world watch. Let the people wonder how you're still standing, how you're still rising, how you're still radiating hope in a world that thrives on fear. Let them speculate, because what they see is not luck, it's alignment, it's strength formed in secret, it's light born in silence, and it's here to stay. This chapter is not about getting back what you lost. It's about building what was always yours to create. And this strength you're now moving in, it's not temporary. It's not a burst of motivation. It's a permanent shift, a divine upgrade. You've crossed over into the realm of knowing, and that is irreversible. Chosen one, your circumstances are now your canvas, not your cage. So paint boldly, move freely, live loudly, and never, ever again forget who you are. You are the strength. You are the shift. You are the sign. Everything you've endured, everything you've risen from, it brought you here. Not to a destination, but to a realization. You were never waiting on life to begin. Life was always waiting on you to claim it, to look beyond the temporary noise of your circumstances and hear the eternal sound of your becoming. That sound, it's your own voice, your own power, the rhythm of your soul, remembering what it came here to do. And now that you've remembered, you can't go back. You can't fit into places that demand your silence. You can't pretend to be powerless just to make others feel comfortable. You can't downplay your fire for the sake of fitting into boxes you were never built for. The truth has awakened in you, and it's permanent. There is a reason everything started shaking when you began rising. The moment you stopped apologizing for your strength, the world around you felt the shift. Your energy stopped playing small. Your frequency began disrupting old patterns. And what you may have mistaken for things falling apart was actually the illusion crumbling, the false scaffolding of a life built on fear. Let it fall. It had no power over you, only the power you unknowingly gave it. You are no longer living from that place. Now you move from center, from truth, from inner alignment so deep that circumstances no longer get to dictate your direction. You've tasted freedom, not the kind that comes from escape, but the kind that comes from presence, from choosing again and again to stand in your truth, even when the storm rages, especially when it does. Because here's what you've finally realized. Strength isn't loud, it's consistent. It's not just in your bold declarations, it's in your quiet decisions to rise, to show up, to breathe through the heaviness, to smile through the process, to walk with grace through the unknown. This is who you are now. Not someone trying to be strong, but someone who knows they already are. Do you feel it? That inner shift, that unshakable calm that says, "I've been through worse, and I'm still here." That voice that speaks softly, "I don't need everything to be perfect. I just need to be aligned." That knowing that says, "No matter how long it takes, I'm going to build what's mine." That's not ego. That's embodiment. That's what happens when a soul returns to its seat of power. And now that you're seated in that power, let me remind you of something vital. This is not the peak. This is the launch. You haven't seen your greatest heights yet. You haven't felt the fullness of your impact. What's awakening in you now is just the opening. There's more. Not because you're lacking, but because the universe always responds to growth with expansion. You were built for legacy, for overflow, for alignment so deep that it radiates through your words, your presence, your silence. You were not called just to heal yourself, but to inspire others to remember their own strength too. You were not chosen because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. You didn't give up, even when giving up would have been easier. And that is what makes you dangerous to anything that ever tried to break you. So listen closely. The same strength that carried you through your darkest moments is the strength that will now build your brightest ones. The energy that helped you survive is now evolving into the power to lead, to create, to expand. What once looked like scars are now symbols of sacred resilience. You're no longer just telling a story. You are living a message. And your message is this: you don't have to wait for perfect conditions. You don't have to chase validation. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. Your existence is the evidence. Your breath is the blessing. Your presence is the permission. You are the chosen one. Not because life was easy, but because you chose to rise anyway. So let the old you rest now. The version of you that hesitated, that second-guessed, that doubted your voice. Thank that version. Honor it, but do not resurrect it. You are not who you were. You are not bound to their rules, their fears, their timelines. You are rewriting everything. Every time you choose presence over panic, you win. Every time you choose movement over paralysis, you build. Every time you choose truth over comfort, you rise. And every time you choose yourself, the real you, the world gets brighter. Don't look back. Don't reach for what fell apart. It crumbled because it could not contain the strength of who you are now. You are walking in a new frequency, one that demands clarity, courage, and commitment, not just for a moment, but as a way of life. So walk, chosen one, with your head high, not in arrogance, but in reverence, with your heart open, not in naivety, but in trust, with your vision forward, not in fantasy, but in faith. You are no longer hoping for strength. You are living it, and no circumstance will ever again convince you otherwise.